John Wick Chapter 2. John Wick Chapter 2 is the surprising sequel to the surprising movie John Wick. Now, if you didn't see John Wick, it's basically a movie about a retired hitman whose wife dies. I haven't seen the first one in a while, but I believe it was from maybe cancer or something. I don't know, don't quote me on that. But basically, all she leaves him is a dog, and like I said, he's a hitman, so he's worked with, some bad people before, and they come and they kill his dog. And so he basically freaks out and he goes to kill everyone because he's upset because the dog was the last thing his wife gave him before her passing, and since the people took that away from him, he's upset and he's gonna kill some people. And it was really entertaining. I was really surprised by it because no one really knew anything about it. It was just this low budget, Keanu Reeves film, and Keanu Reeves has done numerous films like this, so people were like, it's just another one of those Keanu Reeves films, but it really wasn't. It was really surprising and really good, and if you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend you go check out the first John Wick. But if you did see the first John Wick, you know what it was like. It was a very fast-paced, movie where this dude's shooting people everywhere, almost every single scene. And so you know that you should be expecting this in the second one, and I can confirm, I personally believe the second one was better than the first one. I don't know, there was just something about it that I thought was better than the first one. I think this one definitely had more of like an outdoorsy feel, because this one was based in the United States and Rome. So John Wick was constantly, wandering around the city and the places like the really cool temples and stuff in Rome. So I thought that was really cool to see, because in the first one, there was just like the hotel or whatever. But the second one, I thought the geography and some of the shots they took, especially I think it was New York or something they were in, I don't know, when they were in the United States. But there were some really cool shots of, John Wick walking on a bridge with his dog. That was a pretty cool shot. If you've seen the movie, you know what scene I'm talking about. But yeah, I really like that shot. So the geography and the cinematography was something that I really thought was good about this movie. Another thing that they did really good in this one that I think wasn't as good in the first one was the color. The color they used in this movie is so good. If you've seen the poster, it's like this really dark, vibrant, purple blue. That was just so cool when I saw that. I'm like, dang, it really brings out the name John Wick. And one of the things I really liked with the color is there's a character in the movie who does American Sign Language. They use their hands to communicate with people, and so they have subtitles and everything what the person's saying, and whenever they try to emphasize a word, they make it this really bold dark red color or something. So I thought that was really cool, really interesting to see that they did that. Now let's talk about Keanu Reeves. Okay, here's why I have to start with Keanu Reeves. He's done some really good movies, and he's done some really bad movies. Let's forget about those bad movies, and let's look at the good movies, like The Matrix. Oh, that's a good movie if you haven't seen that. Go check that one out. The other two are just, not the best, but The Matrix, that's a good movie to compare with this, because Keanu Reeves, he's kicking butt in that one, and he's doing it in this one too. So it still shows that even 20 years later, Keanu Reeves can still do that. The dude's 52 years old. And he looks like he's 35, and he's doing stunts that looks like he's 35 and not 52 years old. I mean, that's really impressive. And I will have to say, in my opinion, maybe not the best actor for dialogue and stuff, but for action, I think you should get Keanu Reeves for an action movie. Dialogue, like I said, not the best, because even in the movie, one of the final scenes, John Wick is talking with one of his buddies or whatever, played by Ian McShane, and he's like, I will kill them all. And me and my dad are just sitting there, we're even though you are good with killing people, doesn't mean you're good talking. So just maybe go kill someone else for right now. One of the things that I thought was really funny about this movie was there's a scene where John Wick is at some party or whatever trying to kill someone he's been sent to go kill, and there are a bunch of these professional, and may I add one more time, professional bodyguards chasing after him. And I'm gonna assume there are about 30, I don't really remember, but let's say 30. They're all chasing after him, with their gigantic guns and shotguns and handguns, chasing after John Wick, and they can't even shoot him once. One guy against 30 dudes, and they can't even shoot him once. It's literally like the aim of the stormtrooper, but whenever John Wick shoots, they just get shot in the head or shot in the chest. I thought that was really funny, and it's not a bad thing for the movie. It's just like, these are professional guys, so like maybe, I mean, a couple of them got John Wick, not really, but still, I thought it's not a bad thing about the movie. It's just like, but I can't emphasize it enough. The action scenes in this movie are so pleasing because it literally brings back the good old memories from, the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s movies, and the ones that even Keanu did before he did stupid movies like Speed. Yeah, Speed 2 was such a good idea. Even Keanu himself knew that it wasn't a good idea to come back to that. But anyway, back to John Wick. I just think the action scenes were really good, and they really bring back, good memories, because today in most movies you can't get the best action sequences. I think some can be okay but not the best, but these ones in this movie, I can't wait for the third one, because the first two have been so promising with the hitman stuff, and I think that's just something that the movie does really good, is it makes John Wick or Keanu Reeves be just a really terrorizing hitman. He even has a nickname called the Boogeyman because of how terrifying he is to, other people. But enough about the good stuff. There is like one thing that I did want to talk about that I don't know if it's really like a bad thing. It just wasn't something that sat well with me, and that's Lawrence Fishburne. Look, the guy's a good actor, but I really don't think they needed him for this movie because he didn't really have an effect on the plot except give John Wick a gun when he needed one. That was really it. Other than that, he's just a really useless character who tends pigeon cages. Like, I don't know, there wasn't really a reason they needed him in this movie. So, I mean, it's not really a bad thing about the movie that's going to bring the grade I give it down, but it could, because it's just a waste of like 15 minutes of the movie when we could have been having an interesting fight or interesting dialogue. Which is another thing I want to touch upon that was actually a really good thing. The dialogue between some characters in this movie, it's really intense. Like, it can be a super boring scene, but the dialogue between two characters is just so intense, and it gets rid of that boringness. Like, there's a scene where John Wick is talking to some woman who's about to do something, I won't say what, but basically he's talking to her, and it's the super dim lit room, and he's just talking to her, and it's kind of boring because a big action scene had just gone down. He's just talking to her, and I'm just like, I don't really know if this is the way to transition out of a big action scene, but I mean, it was entertaining, and I thought, and the movie does that multiple times. I'm like, dang, if it can pull this off numerous times, then that's something you want to keep doing. And so yeah, that was a good thing about it. All in all, if you haven't seen John Wick 2 yet, I definitely recommend you go see it. And if you haven't, the reason is probably because your girlfriend or someone dragged you to 50 Shades Darker, which I hate to admit it, but I kind of want to see it because I have this weird thing where, if I see the first one of the movies and I know it's going to be like a trilogy or something, I have to finish it. I don't know why. Even though they're complete trash, I have to see it. So that review will probably be up in like 5 years. No, I'm just kidding. Probably in like a month or so. But I think John Wick 2 is definitely a really good movie. You should go check it out. I think the grade I'm gonna give it is an A. It's one that I think I will be watching numerous times and probably buying on Blu-ray before the third one comes out in like 2019. Dang, that just feels like it's too long away, but it's gonna come fast. I don't know. Go check out John Wick. Good movie, fun time, very entertaining. Thank you all so much for listening, because this has been A Talk in Depth.